All right, hey everybody. So Josh Bruce, still working on this string class that I started in my phone. It has definitely taken a completely different turn with regard to how the functions are set up and things like that. Um, and so, I find that quite fascinating. But now we're looking at, we just finished insert, right? So we just created this one, and we're moving on to replace subrange. Now, replace subrange, it's kind of interesting. You might not think so, but I think so. And we're probably going to go away from trying to match Swift, the Swift API specifically, and we'll get into why in a moment. So can replace subrange. So the syntax in Swift for this would basically be something like string replace subrange, and then we need a range here, range, and then the string, right? And the thing about it is that these are objects. It's a specific type of object. It's kind of like a tuple, or a specific type of struct. And I don't want to have to create another class just to handle this type of logic. Instead, I would much rather like to do something more along the lines of what substring replace does, where you can say where to start and then how many characters to overwrite. And so basically, that's going to be a little bit different. So let's see. Expected. I don't know what's expected yet. So let's just do result first. So from string, let's go ahead and use the AZ again. And what we're going to do, no, because I want to still maintain that multi-byte character thing. So let's start with world. Let's replace this globe with world. So we're going to say replace subrange, and we're going to replace world with world. And basically we're going to start at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to start at 7. And here is where it gets weird, right? Because so a range in Swift could be anywhere from 0 to 3, and what that would do is it would affect the indices indicated, right? So 0 all the way up to and including 3. You could replace the last dot in the ellipsis with a less than sign, and basically it would be 0, 1, 2, not 3, right? And that's nice, but that's really not what we want to go for. So instead, let's go with, like I said, what PHP already has, which is the concept of where are we starting and how many characters are we deleting. So I'm going to say 1, and we're going to say string, and so the expectation is that is world. Okay, so that's what we should get. So let's say this assert equals expected result. And that fails because replace subrange doesn't exist. So let's go with that. And the string is coming first, so in the Swift implementation, the string does not come first. The string actually goes last. And part of that, to me, makes sense. Having said that, to maintain a consistency across all of our methods, I would like to go ahead and leave the value, the string first, and then the at last. And oh, right, we also have length. All right, so and this is returning the instance. So there we go. And as you can see, the world did not get replaced. Now, the reason that I say this one is interesting to me is that it's basically insertion. So it's this insertion, but it has to be able to delete, right? So we can't call insert because we have to do something with this right array. So let's go ahead and just copy and paste that code. And then what we're going to do is for I equals 0, I is less than length, we're going to do array shift off of the right. Okay, and so what array shift does is it will take, so say we have an array, and I just don't feel like messing with commas. Array shift will basically say, I'm going to pop this off, and it'll return 1, and it will convert right to basically be 2, 3. Okay, there's an alternate or opposite, which is array pop, and what that would do, all right, so if we did this, basically what we would do is it takes the last item and pops it off the end. So it would return 3 and leave us with an array, a right array that has 1 and 2 inside of it. So by array shifting, we are basically going ahead and doing the replacement, right? And then, so we're modifying this array, and without having to explicitly say, you know, right now equals this and right now equals that, and so on and so forth. And so it's just taking those pieces off, we're going to insert it, and then we're going to merge it, and then we're going to implode it, and we're going to do the thing. And so in theory, that should work. So now let's go back up here, right? Because there's a principle. Don't repeat yourself. We are technically repeating ourselves. We are repeating 80% of the code that's up here down here. So is there a way for us to basically let insert use this? Right? And so if we come back to substring replace and what the expectations are from the community, given a positive number, it represents the length of the portion of the string that's going to be replaced, right? But then down here, of course, if length is 0, then this function will have the effect of inserting. So let's just do that, right? So if we were to say this, replace subrange value starting at, and we told it a length of 0, do our test pass, and they do, right? So now, what if, well, rather, should we take this one step farther and always make replaceSubrange a default of inserting. Right? At that point, we have that. Right? So we've cleared that out a bit. And I'm trying to see. See, now this is interesting. Don't think we can do anything there. Insert just calls insert after creating the string. I think we can actually do this. So what I'm thinking is that we should be able to do something to the effect of this replaceSubrange with value starting at this count, or basically the length of the string, and that'll do the end, and it's always already at 0, so that's going to be an inserting. Still need to get my license in here. Oh. No. Shouldn't have hit. I'm just going to leave that alone for now then. I'm going to marinate on that because our tests are passing, so we're good with regard to replaceSubrange. So, but now really want to make sure that this is working the way it should. So let's make sure that we can do the reverse. Right, so we can start with hello emoji. And we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to replace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. Oh. Okay. I'm going to take it on faith that that works. So now it starts getting kind of faster, I think. So we want to be able to remove a character at an index. So function test can remove character index. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're basically trying to say, okay, let's see, expected equals h result equals string from string hello world do remove one. And this one says remove and returns the character at the specified position. So actually, oh yeah, what we need to do is say string to give ourselves the base string, this, oh, and then char equals string remove. So that should be H. And then string to string, that should be hello world. You got to do that with a European accent. So there we go. So this assert equals expected and char, and this assert equals hello, or rather hello world, and that should be string. If we do this, it fails because we don't have a remove. So function remove integer, stick with the same naming convention. This returns a string. And so what we should be able to do is say array equals this to array. And we should be able to, I'm not going to do any error checking or handling or anything like that, so I'm just going to take it on faith that the developer knows what they're doing. So what we're going to do is char is going to be array slice array offset of at and length of 1. And let's just say that the string equals, I'm not sure if this part's actually going to work, because I don't know if array slice does it by reference, so I don't know if it's actually updating that or not. So we're going to return char and update our string. Array returned. Oh, right. So we're also going to need to implode at -1. So it does not pass it in by reference. All right, so I want to slow down for just a second. We know that we're going to need the array to get the char. We're actually being a little complicated because we should just be able to say array at -1. That way it gets the value. We don't have to do the implode and that sort of a thing. Okay, so let's do this. Index equals at -1. We're going to get a copy of the character at index, and then I'm going to say unset array index, because this should remove it from the array. There we go. All right, so now we can remove something at an index. We're getting interesting. Remove all, especially with the keeping capacity. I'm not sure what that's going to be all about. Remove all where takes a predicate, so I'm not really sure how to do a predicate or that type of a closure in PHP at this point, because I've never had to. Remove first. So remove first, it's pretty much the same test that we did here. So let's modify this test to make sure that it's getting what we think it's getting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remove position 6. That should be the comma, so on and so forth. Remove first. This is sort of like the shifting, the array shift and the array pop, like we talked about before. And is that what we're looking for? No, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so all green because I didn't save, so we at least know that's working. Oh, remove first. Okay, so remove first doesn't exist. It does now, and we don't need to pass anything. And it's going to return a string. Now, remove first should be kind of easy, right? We should just be able to say this. Yeah, return this, remove first. Right? Remove last. All right, so same test, different names, so we can avoid that error. We should get a bang. Okay, and remove last. Don't need that. So again, this is, so there's a couple ways we could do this. One, we could just rewrite all of this logic and just pop off, the last one. But instead, what we should be able to do is return this, remove this count. And that worked. So that's remove last. Now this becomes fascinating. Remove subrange, because we have replace, but we don't have remove yet. So remove subrange, basically we're going to want to start at an index and go for a certain distance, right? So and removes the characters in a given range, so it doesn't return them or anything like that. So it's going to be returning the instance. And so we're going to do and I want to do one of these complicated ones. So function public test can remove subrange. All right. So, let's do something different. All right, so expected is going to be the globe, so Control Command, and the Mac gives you frequently used, so that's nice. The result is going to equal string from string. Bring that up again. I'm going to add one of those. Bring it up again. Add one of those. Let's go ahead and add the world there. Oh, well, no. So, or remove subrange. Yeah, so we're gonna, let's go with this one. And that one. All right. So we should be able to do remove. You know what? Let's call it twice. Let's make this really hard on ourselves. Remove subrange. So we're going to start at 1. We're going to delete 2. And then we're going to do it again. And we're going to start at, that would be 2 and delete 2. Right? Because it's going to be deleted and then we're going to delete again. So it's not going to be 3. It's going to be 1 and 2. Oh, wait. Yeah, let's do that twice. String this assert equals expected result, and remove subrange doesn't exist. So int at int length, returning the instance. Now, what do we want to do here? We almost want to do this, but multiple times. If there's more than one that we want. So let's get this part out of the way. Turn this. All right, so that globe does not equal that. And all right, let's give it a shot. For I equals 0, I less than length. And basically what we're going to do is this remove at. One, two, delete 2, delete. Yeah, okay. So that worked. Remove subrange filter, that's more of a predicate thing. Drop again, and I really just don't have time to do this right now. So drop first returns a subsequence containing all but the given number of initial elements. really hoping to get through all these within 30 minutes. So let's punch through. All right. So public function test can drop first count. So basically, what we're wanting to do is so that's our string, drop first 2. Drop first doesn't exist. Function drop first int width. And it does return the string, so that's a little bit different. So what we should be able to do is remove subrange. One and this length, and then return this string. Oh. Call to a member function string. Oh, it returns the string. There we go. All right, so drop last. So basically we're expecting the opposite here, right? So drop last 2. Bad things happened. Oh, drop last count. Drop last doesn't exist. Int length string. All right, so this see if this was negative. I'm going to cheat this one for just this video at least. Length. This, remove this count, return this string. There we go. So drop last, and then pop last is to remove and return the last element. Right? So public function test can pop last. Now it doesn't explicitly say that it actually alters the string, but that's kind of what we're assuming here. So, and maybe we'll change that. So we're going to drop the last, which gets us there. So pop last doesn't take an argument. All right, so there's that. Pop last function. No arguments. Takes a string, returns a string. So we should be able to just say return this drop last with a length of 1. There we go. All right, and so next time we'll actually start getting into string manipulation from a casing and perspective. As always, thanks for making the time, and I'll see you around.